It all started 3 years ago. I was living in another city back then, working for a small company, renting an apartment. A normal life for a normal person. I kept in regular touch with my family, called Mom once a week, texted with my sister Olivia almost daily. Everything seemed fine. My sister Olivia is 5 years younger than me. She was always my parents' favorite, but I never held that against her. What can you do? It happens. She's pretty, outgoing, knows how to charm anyone. I was always more reserved, serious. I did better in school, better in college, but my parents somehow seemed prouder of her talent show ribbons than my academic awards. When I turned 25, I moved to another city. A good job opportunity came up, with prospects. My parents took it calmly, even supported me, said, "Good for you, go build your life." Olivia had just graduated college then, was living at home, looking for a job. The first year passed quickly. I was settling into my new place, finding my footing. I visited home every 3 months, always for holidays. My parents never visited me too far, they said, and Dad had a lot of work. He was still working then, about 3 years from retirement. Then the calls started, first from Mom. "Olivia found a job, but the pay is low. Maybe you could help her out a little." Of course I helped, sent 100-200 every month. Didn't mind, she's my sister, just needed to get on her feet. Then the calls became more frequent. She needed money for courses, work clothes, a trip with friends for her mental health. I kept helping, even though I had to budget tightly myself. I rented a 1-bedroom in a less than-great neighborhood, bought clothes on sale. After a year and a half, Mom called with news. Olivia's getting married. Can you imagine? Such happiness. He's a good guy, hard-working. Weddings in 3 months. I was happy for her, of course. Asked when to come, how I could help organize. Mom said they could handle it themselves, but financial help wouldn't hurt. I sent 1,000, my entire performance bonus. I arrived 2 days before the wedding, and that's when the unimaginable started. I wasn't just a guest. I was the main sponsor. Mom introduced me to everyone. "This is our eldest daughter. She helps us so much." Then she'd add under her breath, "She's doing well, makes good money." But the strangest thing was Olivia's behavior. She was cold, barely spoke to me, answered my questions with one-word replies. I chalked it up to pre-wedding nerves and didn't dwell on it. After the wedding, the newlyweds rented an apartment, and I kept helping. Now it wasn't just Olivia, but the young couple. Money was needed for furniture, appliances, or just to tide them over till payday. Then came the event that changed everything. Mom was diagnosed with heart problems. She needed an expensive, life-saving surgery. I immediately offered to cover the entire cost. Used all my savings, took out a loan. The surgery was successful. Mom recovered. During her illness, I spent almost a month at home, took unpaid leave. And that's when I started noticing odd things. When I was in the room, my parents and Olivia talked to me normally. But if I stepped out, conversations hushed. If I came back unexpectedly, I could feel they'd just been discussing something about me. I caught snippets a few times. Mom told Olivia, "Don't worry, she'll help." Olivia replied, "What if she refuses? She doesn't have to." Dad chimed in, "She does. She's family." I tried to find out what it was about, but they'd say I misheard, that they were talking about neighbors or friends. But I was left with an uneasy feeling that something was being hidden. After Mom recovered, I returned to my city. Life went back to normal. Work, home, occasional meetups with friends. Calls from family became less frequent, but requests for help didn't stop. Now even Dad called sometimes. "Sweetie, we have a little situation here." Another year passed. By then, I was seriously thinking about buying my own apartment. I'd saved up a down payment, was researching bank mortgage offers, dreamed of my own place where I could host family gatherings. Then Olivia called. Her voice was strange, both pleading and demanding. "Hey, we've got a serious issue here. Mark and I decided to buy an apartment, tired of renting, throwing money away. But we're short on the down payment. Mom and Dad say you'll help. You will, right?" The amount wasn't small, 3,000, exactly what I'd saved for my own place. I was stunned. and asked for time to think. What's there to think about? Olivia sounded surprised. We're family. I need it urgently. We submit the paperwork next week. You're not regretting it, are you? You have a good salary. You'll save up again. I couldn't answer right away. On one hand, she was right family. On the other, these were my savings, my dream. I'd pinched pennies for 2 years. Okay, I finally said. But it's a loan. I was planning to buy an apartment too. Of course, a loan, Olivia agreed quickly. We're not greedy. We'll pay it back. Definitely. The next day, I transferred the money. Olivia was thrilled. Thanked me, promised not to forget my help. My parents called too, praised me for not abandoning my sister in her time of need. Months passed. Olivia gave periodic updates on the apartment purchase, delays with paperwork, problems with the bank. Something always came up. But overall, things were moving. Then she shared the happy news apartment bought. They'd moved in. I congratulated them and gently reminded her of the debt. Not because I urgently needed the money, but I wanted to know when I could plan my own purchase. Oh, yeah, of course, Olivia said. But we're renovating now, then buying furniture. No spare cash at the moment, but we'll definitely pay you back. Don't worry. I didn't push. Understood that moving in was expensive. Decided to wait. Meanwhile, Dad's birthday was approaching. 60 years old, a milestone. Mom started planning the celebration a month ahead. Called, told me who they were inviting, what they planned to cook. We decided to celebrate at home, she said. About 30 people, relatives, friends, neighbors. Dad really wants all his loved ones close. I started preparing too. Ordered a gift, a nice watch Dad had long wanted. Arranged time off work. Booked train tickets. A week before the anniversary, I called Mom to confirm details. Mom, what time does it start? I need to know when to book my ticket. And then Mom said the sentence that turned my life upside down. You're planning to come? But we didn't invite you. I thought I'd misheard. How do you mean, didn't invite me? Mom, it's Dad's 60th. Of course I'm coming. You see, sweetie, Mom's voice turned apologetic. We have limited space. The apartment isn't big, lots of guests. We decided to invite only those who live nearby. You're far away. It's a long, expensive trip. Why put yourself through that expense? I was silent, not understanding what was happening. Mom continued, You can just call Dad to congratulate him. He'll understand. And you can mail the gift. Mom, I don't get it. This is a family celebration. How can Dad's milestone birthday be without his daughter? Olivia will be here. She lives here. And you? Well, you're an adult. You have your own life. Please don't be offended. I hung up in complete shock. I couldn't believe what I'd heard. In all my 30 years, this had never happened. Even when I studied in another city, I was always expected at family celebrations. I spent the whole day trying to find a logical explanation. Maybe Mom misspoke. Maybe I misunderstood. That evening I called Dad. Dad, happy birthday. I already bought tickets. I'm coming Saturday. Thanks, sweetie, but why buy tickets? We never agreed you'd be here. My heart turned cold. How do you mean, never agreed? Dad, it's your 60th. Of course I'll be there. You see, how to put it? We decided to celebrate with a small, local circle. You live far away. Why should you travel? But I'm your daughter. Well, of course you're my daughter. And I love you. But Olivia is my daughter too, and she's here. Just call on the day, congratulate me. That's enough. I didn't know what to say. A lump formed in my throat, tears filled my eyes. Okay, Dad, whatever you say. After that call, I cried all night. I had to return the tickets, losing money on the cancellation fee. The gift sat in its box. On Dad's birthday, I called in the morning, congratulated him, wished him health and happiness. Dad seemed pleased, thanked me, asked about work, about life. The conversation felt warm, like always, as if nothing had happened. That evening, Olivia posted photos from the party on social media. A big table, lots of people, Dad in a new suit in the center, happy and content, Mom in a beautiful dress, a cake with candles. Everything looked festive and family-oriented. And in all the photos, it was clear there was definitely space for me. The apartment wasn't that small, the table wasn't overflowing. They just didn't want me there. I realized something fundamental in my family's attitude towards me had changed, but I couldn't understand what exactly. Nothing major seemed to have happened. No one seemed mad at me. The next few months were calm. My parents called as usual, asked how I was. Olivia reached out occasionally. No one mentioned repaying the debt, and I didn't remind them. Decided to wait until they brought it up. Then came the second shock. On an ordinary Tuesday evening, I got a message in a chat app from Olivia. No pleasantries, straight to the point. Hey, situation here. The bank is demanding an early mortgage payment. Some problems with paperwork. Long story short, need 3,500 urgently. Can you transfer it? Need it by tomorrow. I reread the message several times. Olivia was calmly asking me for money, not even mentioning the previous debt she hadn't repaid, as if nothing had happened. I wrote back, Olivia, what about the 3,000 I loaned you for the down payment? You promised to pay it back. The reply came an hour later. What 3,000? You were helping us with the apartment. It was helping family. No one asked you to count it as a loan. We have real problems now. Can you help or not? I couldn't believe my eyes. Was she seriously thinking I'd just gifted her that amount? We clearly agreed it was a loan. I called her immediately. Olivia, are you kidding me? We clearly agreed it was a loan. You said you'd pay it back. Oh, come on. Irritation was clear in her voice. What loan? We're family. Family helps each other, no strings attached. What? You've gotten greedy? What does greed have to do with it? That was my savings for my own apartment. So what? You have a good salary, you'll save again. We have real problems now. The bank is threatening to take the apartment. What about your salary? What about Mark's salary? We just did renovations, bought furniture. All the money's gone. And anyway, as the older sister, you're supposed to help the younger one. That's how it is. I was furious. I see. So I'm supposed to support you for life? What about my own life? Not support, just help sometimes. You're not poor. We're a young family just starting out. Olivia, I'm 32. I'm also just starting out. I also want my own apartment. You'll buy it later. You're in no rush. You're single. We might have kids soon. That conversation finally opened my eyes. To my family, I wasn't a daughter or sister. I was a cash cow, a convenient source of funding for other people's needs. And yet, they didn't even invite me to family celebrations. I refused to give Olivia the money. For the first time in years, I said a firm no. She didn't expect that. You're serious? You won't help at all? Not at all. Fine. I'll tell Mom and Dad how greedy you've become. Let them know their eldest daughter is useless. And she hung up. The next day Mom called. Her voice was cold, formal. Olivia told me you refused to help them. Is that true? It is. How could you? They have such problems. And you. Mom, I already helped them buy an apartment. I gave them my savings. That was money for my own place. So what if it was yours? Family comes first. You've become like a stranger, only thinking of yourself. And is anyone thinking of me? When you didn't invite me to Dad's anniversary, is that normal? Oh, there you go again. We explained space was limited. Mom, the pictures show there was plenty of space. Don't be smart. And don't compare. Olivia lives nearby. Helps us. You. And what about me? I fulfilled every request for help for 3 years. I paid for your surgery. I constantly send Olivia money. That's your duty. You're the daughter. Then why wasn't the daughter invited to her own father's milestone birthday? Mom couldn't find an answer and hung up. After that conversation, contact with my family practically stopped. They rarely called, only on major holidays. And even then, conversations were formal and strained. I grieved for a long time, wondering what I'd done wrong. Why did it turn out this way? Maybe I really was wrong. Maybe I acted too selfishly. But then I understood. I'd spent my whole life trying to buy my parents' love with money. I thought if I helped, I'd become needed. But the opposite happened. I became convenient. They loved me not for who I was, but for what I provided. And when I stopped providing, the love disappeared. 6 months passed. I still hadn't bought an apartment, the money was gone. Had to start saving from scratch. But I understood many important things about myself and family. Then came the event that put the final nail in the coffin of our relationship. A complete stranger called me, introduced himself as Scott, said he was a realtor handling the sale of my parents' apartment. I didn't understand. Sorry, what sale? My parents aren't moving anywhere. Aren't moving? They ordered an appraisal, said they're selling and buying another place. I got your number from them. Aren't you also an owner? My mind couldn't process it. No, I'm not an owner. And I know nothing about any sale. You must have the wrong number. No, I have the right number. Your mom gave me your phone. Said you're the eldest daughter and should be involved in the transaction. I asked Scott to hold and immediately called Mom. Mom, what's this about selling the apartment? Some realtor called me. Oh, that. We decided to sell this place and buy a bigger one. Olivia and Mark want to move in with us. There's not enough room. And you didn't tell me? What's to tell? Our apartment, our business. But I'm your daughter. That's my childhood home. So what? You have your own life. You'll have your own place. Olivia and Mark need help. They're young. But they bought an apartment. With my money. They did. But it's small. Now they're planning a baby. They need more space. I felt like I was losing my mind. So they're selling the apartment they bought with my money and moving in with you? Yeah. What's wrong with that? We're family. We'll live together, help each other. And where will I stay when I come home? Why would you come home? You have your own life there. And besides, you didn't come for Dad's anniversary, so you don't need the house. That conversation was the last straw. I realized I'd been completely erased from the family, not just uninvited to a celebration, but denied even a place in my parents' home. I called the realtor back and said I had nothing to do with the sale and didn't want any more calls. Later that evening, I got a message from Olivia. Hey, listen, we need a little help. We're selling our apartment and moving in with the folks, but until buyers are found, we need to make the first payment on the new mortgage. 4,000. Can you help? I stared at the message for a long time, then replied, No. A minute later, a new text. What do you mean, no? We're family. If we're family, why wasn't I invited to Dad's anniversary? If we're family, why are Mom and Dad selling the house without telling me? If we're family, why haven't you paid back the 3,000? There was no reply for a long time. Then Olivia wrote, You've changed. Become mean and greedy. You weren't like this before. Before I was convenient. Now I'm thinking of myself. Well, think then. We'll manage without you. And that was the end. It's been a year since then. In that time, my relatives called me only a handful of times. On New Year's, on my birthday. Conversations were short and formal. How's work? How's health? No one apologized. No one tried to mend things. And I've learned a lot about myself and life in this year. I learned that love can't be bought with money, that help should be mutual, that in a real family, you're valued not for what you give, but for who you are. I stopped feeling guilty, stopped thinking I was a bad daughter and sister, because I realized bad daughters and sisters don't send their last dime for their parents' surgery, don't give their savings for their sister's apartment, don't help for years, asking nothing in return. I also learned that real family isn't just those connected by blood. It's those who value you, support you, remember your needs and feelings. I made new friends who became closer than relatives. Met a guy, Andrew, a colleague from another department. Good, reliable, understanding. When I told him my story, he said he'd been through something similar with his brother. It took 2 years, but his brother finally understood he was wrong, and their relationship changed for the better. That gave me hope. I finally saved up enough and bought an apartment. Small, but mine. Furnished it the way I like. And you know what? For the first time in my life, I feel at home. Sometimes I still get sad, especially when I see happy families who support and value each other. I want to believe that someday my family and I will reconcile, that they'll understand how they treated me, that they'll apologize. But it hasn't happened yet. And I'm learning to live with that pain, learning not to blame myself for setting boundaries, learning to believe I deserve love and respect simply for existing. And I learned one very important thing. You can't sacrifice yourself for people who don't appreciate it. You can't give your last to those who see it as their due. You can't buy love. It's either there or it's not. And if family sees you only as a source of profit, then that's not family. Those are consumers disguised as relatives. It took me 30 years to learn this, but better late than never. Now I'm building a new life, with new people, new relationships, new principles. And for the first time in many years, I feel truly free. Yes, it hurts to realize that the people you considered closest only saw you as a walking wallet. But it hurt even more to realize I allowed it. For years I bought their affection, thinking that was how it should be,